G'day, John. Welcome to the Hidden Why podcast.
Hey, thanks, Lee. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You buy houses.
I sure do. Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, California, and buy houses. I guess the common thing is now that flipping, right? So we buy houses and turn around and sell them to other people, fix them up and sell them.
So that's your company's focus, is buying and flipping?
Yeah, buying and flipping. We do. So we have it kind of broken down into three categories. We have like a sales and marketing company that we send all our sales and marketing out on, that basically and have a sales team, and everything comes in through that company. And if it's a deal that we want to take down ourselves, we sell it to another company and we flip it ourselves, sell it to our other company. Apologize for that. And then we go ahead and we do the work and fix it up and sell it. And then I have a construction company that kind of feeds the rehab company. I'm sorry,
Gotcha.
the rehab company, as far as like, to do all the fix-up stuff. And then
You have
my
a few
wife's
companies in the pipeline here.
Yeah, and then my wife is an interior designer, and she kind of works for us there too. So I just kind of worked on getting her set up today too, so that she can have her own business too. So we're
All about property for you then.
yeah, just kind of trying to give everybody their own space and so they can excel in it.
What got you into real estate?
It's a funny story. It's like back in, so I was a plumbing contractor for years, and I had a plumbing business for, 25 years,
Yeah.
and that's all I really did out of high school. I think it took like a year out, like 1 year off, kind of, I didn't go to college, so I was kind of a tradesman. So I got a job as a plumber with the whole mindset of like, if I'm going to be a plumber, I'm going to make sure I want to have my own business. I always wanted to have my own business. So before I was like, out of high school, I was really good at working on cars, pretty mechanical, right? So that I didn't like that. After a year trying to figure out how to get if that was going to be something for me. I got into plumbing, new construction, and then I basically just did that for years. And then I was able to save a little bit of money, and I always wanted to invest in real estate, right? Because I just knew it was a good thing to do. So I started about 2009. I started taking some classes, like a lot of people do, those weekend courses and stuff like that, and didn't really do anything for about 3 years. And then 2012, I met a guy locally here named Bruce Norris, and went to one of his boot camps, and I like a 3-day course, and I go, wow, this is really interesting. Now I know what I need to do. Well, I didn't do anything. I had all this knowledge, but I wasn't ready to take action on it yet. So I went back in about 6 months, like, I got to take another one of these things. Well, when I was sitting there, I was like, what am I waiting for? I have all the knowledge. I have fear. I was fearful of making a decision, and finally just got rid of that fear. And then I just kind of just dove in and I bought it.
How'd you get rid of that fear?
Just by taking action.
Yeah.
I was like, I could just be one of these guys that just talk all the time, or a person that thinks that they can, that this stuff's just going to happen for you. You just, you got to get out there and you got to get your hands dirty. You got to sometimes make some mistakes, or you got to be successful to figure out what you want to do, right? And went out there and just took some action, and it was great. I think within like the first year, I bought 4 or 5 properties. Probably in a year and a half, I bought 5 properties. And kept a couple as rentals, and then I ended up flipping a few to sell, and then that was at the end of 2013. I was like, I got to do this full time. I was done with my plumbing business. I just lost interest in it. Got a little bit slow. Didn't want to go back and ramp it back up. So I told my wife, I was like, I think I'm just going to do real estate full time. And she says, well, you did pretty good at plumbing, so I'm sure you'll do good at real estate. So she wasn't any kind of roadblock. She was an encouragement, like she always is, and she just said, you should just go for it. So that's it. Yeah.
All this history. You found a new passion. It's interesting that when you sort of take some action and go down a different path, and you can lose interest quickly in your previous professional or hobbies even.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, because it was like, and I think it was all for I'm all about intention and purpose, and it was just, all my effort was going towards real estate. Of course, the plumbing business suffered a little bit because I was thinking more about doing real estate, and it was just more like, I just liked the model. I like a challenge. It just seemed like the right thing to do. So
how are you finding the market over there at the moment where you are? Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Los Angeles, so I'm
Los
in
Angeles,
probably one of the hottest markets in the United States, right? Say the top 5. The market, the market's the market. I try not to focus on what hot, cold, too much competition. We just kind of, here what we do is we do direct marketing to people that want to sell, mainly on the websites. We have a website and we try to get people Facebook. So we try to make relationships with people, and we just try to serve them with provide a solution for them. And what's great about it is like, we can't help everybody. Sometimes they're not a good fit, and we tell them they're not a good fit, and that's good. And that's a good way to be in business, instead of trying to put everybody in your box. We're not for everybody, but the people we are for, it's awesome, because we're able to, give them like just great customer service. We have these great core values we live by, and we're able to, just the whole company, lives off these core values, and then we're able to give that to our customers, and it just works out really well.
How do you assess whether someone's a fit for you or not? Like, how does that happen?
Well, we have it starts with a phone call. Peggy, she's in our acquisitions. She's kind of the sales representative on that end, and she's really good at talking to people. So yeah. She basically we just have a conversation with people, and through that conversation, we go ahead and get some basic information. And if it seems like it's a good fit for both of us, we continue the process, and we kind of just keep the conversation going. And then, when it's time to go ahead and they're ready to take action, we go ahead and we prescribe what we feel is the solution best for them, and if it works out good, that's great. If not, well, maybe we have a different option too. So
yeah, okay. So when you set this up, how did you focus on branding and getting people to be aware of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, that's been an evolution. That's been something that's been going on forever. I still think we're still working on it. The whole branding part was, I just decided to use my name. I think back in 2014, I started thinking about all this branding stuff, and websites weren't quite as popular back then. There wasn't many people. I don't think there's as much information out there as there is now, as far as with real estate investing. A lot of coaches and a lot of people, like gurus, even telling you what to do. So I just picked my name and kind of went with it, and then just built a website, sent postcards out to people.
Yeah.
Now we're doing Facebook and
what do you mean by postcards? What do you do there?
Oh, well, we just, you can gather, there's a bunch of lists out there of what people like, they give you people that own a rental property, someone that has equity in their house, someone with no equity. There's this different list that you could pull from a provider, a list provider, and then you mail them postcards. That worked really well for me at the beginning. Not that many people were, less people were doing it. And I think plus I had a smaller audience that I was after. So people would call from the postcards, and I'd have a conversation with them. So we still do a little bit of mail, but
how do you target that, like the postcards?
Excuse me?
How do you target the postcards?
Oh, it's just through it. It could be a high, target them. You just basically, you look for the list, and then you just have different postcards you send out to people with different types of messages on them.
Do you, but do you just bomb an area, or do you just send it to people that are looking to sell?
Well, yeah, that's what's on the list. So we pick out a zip code, because Los Angeles is huge, right? I can't know everybody. So I have some zip codes that I started out with, and then I basically say that the most common one would be what they call an absentee owner. An absentee owner is somebody that basically owns a rental property. So you pull a list of absentee owners and say 30 zip codes around here that you want to be in, and then you get this list, and then you go ahead and maybe, we call it scrubbing, go through it a little bit to see if there's duplicates or anything you do to kind of clean it up a little bit, and then just go ahead and mail it out. And then, you can't do it once. You got to do it you probably want to hit that same list 6 times, right? So they get a postcard. Depends how aggressive you would be. Once a month, twice a month. I'm sorry, once a month, once every other month. And you just kind of mail. It's just this, we're just system and processes driven. So you just create a system on how you want to get it out. There's mail houses that you can give the list to and just say, okay, mail this out every so often, and tell them what you want to do, and they'll do it for you.
Yeah. So branding for you wasn't really sounds like it wasn't a big focus when you started. It's just sort of, you just put it together and just took action. Yeah.
It just kind of was, and what's great about the branding thing is now all these people I've done business with have great stories. So now we have a really good process at the end. I just bought a house today. Yeah. And it's really, but what happens is we do an exit interview with all our clients, and they're more than happy to do them. So we get testimonials from them written on Google, and we go ahead and get a video from them too, which is great, that we can go ahead and put it on Facebook, or we could show it or it's on our website too to view. So that's actually the really coolest thing is that we're doing business with people, and they're enjoying it, and they almost love to tell people how we treated them, and it was just a win-win for everybody. I think that's the biggest joy in this. That's that's something that I really appreciate, is that we're doing business with people that like us and we like them, and it's a win-win for everybody, and we can solve their problems and help them move on or whatever it is that they need, and it's a good fit for them.
How do you go about doing video testimonials or reviews from your customers? I mean, are they sometimes reluctant to get behind a camera, or?
You know what? It's pretty interesting. At first we thought that was the case, but we just asked. It's funny. We didn't ask before, so we didn't have them. Now it's part of the process. So every time that everything here is in the process, right? It's a checklist. So every time we open escrow, we do the same thing. Every time we close an escrow, we do the same thing. So it's like, I think it's like, say when you're buying a house from somebody, and there's 10 things that need to happen in escrow in that procedure. We call it transaction coordinator. That's the seat where that particular person sits in, the job, so to speak. We call it a seat. Basically, it's part of his checklist to get to ask for a testimonial. Yeah. And we ask for it. Then I have a partner, Ricky. He's in sales, and then he kind of tees it up and does it on Zoom. So it's, the world's kind of gone to Zoom now. Everything's kind of virtual. We used to do it old school, where we'd sit down with the people. I like that because I can interview them. I could be in there with them and ask them some questions. And so we've done a little bit of both. But yeah, it just works out really well.
We did a lot of Zoom stuff now. That's cool, hey?
Yeah.
And I guess a really good point there is, if you don't ask, you don't know, do you? So, and what have you got to lose by asking? I mean, it's not like an unfair request, is it?
That's true. And most people are happy to oblige. They do it in their car. It's great. I mean, it's really cool what happens when you ask, right?
How do you ask about it? Like, do you just say, hey, look, just hope you appreciate our service. Would you like to jump on camera and just give us a quick few kind words, or what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we do. Because here's what we do too. I mean, I think it's kind of great that, like, what we started doing is every time we do it, like at the end of the close of escrow, like that's today. Close of escrow means that for people that don't know what that means, it's like their transaction's complete. So we send them a gift basket anyways. They don't even know what's coming, right? So that's thanks for doing business with us. Here's this gift basket from, I think it's Harriet and David. It's just some kind of a little gift basket with some stuff in it, and it just really excites them. And then getting a video testimonial after that it's not very hard. They kind of feel like it, it's just kind of, it goes with the territory.
Yeah. No, I think that's powerful stuff. Certainly to get that from your clients, and it shows your future clients as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What they can expect, which is important. Particularly, I mean, do you find a lot of your customers jump on there and do look at these reviews? I mean, it's a review economy, as they say.
Yeah, I think it's 100%. They do, because they tell us they do.
Yeah.
They tell us they do. It's very interesting that the stuff that people will tell you. They tell Peggy. But Peggy's really good at asking questions. So, and Peggy will tell them too a lot, hey, make sure you go to our website and check out our reviews. So, so that you understand that we're a legitimate company, and we're doing all these things that we say we're going to do, which is great. So we even tell them to go check them out too if there's any doubt. And that helps a lot. That helps a lot too, because we're credible, right? We have a lot of credibility. Yeah. A lot of people in this business don't have credibility. It's just, there's a lot of sharks in every business, but we don't worry about them. We do what we say we're going to do. We just live by these core values that we set up, and it just makes it easy to do business.
How do you set up your core values?
Well, we run we run what they call the entrepreneur. It's called the EOS system. That's the easy way to say it. A book called Traction. There's a book called Traction, and that's how we run our business. So you have to have core values. We have weekly meetings. So we, at the beginning of when Ricky and I started in 2017. I started the business kind of by myself, and then I wanted to scale up and get bigger. So I brought Ricky on, and then we sat down and we created these core values. So
what's Ricky's name?
Ricky Magana. Ricky Magana. Yeah. And he's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So he can handle people's if somebody, like I said, we provide solutions to people. Sometimes a cash offer is not really good for people, but they want to maybe list with a realtor. Well, then Ricky can list a house too. If need.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's how we establish. We have meetings. We're having a meeting tomorrow. A little late. The quarter's almost over, but hey, it's over today. It's the 30th, right? So we're going to go ahead and have that meeting tomorrow. We're going to set expectations for the next quarter. But the core values are all written down, so it's really easy to. And then everybody that works with you too. It's like all the employees have to stick to the core values. So one thing I found out about that is that in the past I'd hired people, but they didn't have the same values as I did, the core values. And bottom line is, you can't expect people to act a certain way if they don't believe in the culture of your company.
No.
So.
No. I guess when you go out there, you said you do a lot of websites and social media as well to attract new business. Is there anything that you can guide us on as to what works effectively for you in that sense?
You gotta, yeah. It's just a little bit of there's our website works pretty good as far as SEO, right?
Yeah.
So we have to do a lot of work on the website as far as SEO, and it's always ongoing maintenance, writing blogs, getting backlinks, adjusting the content, and that takes a while for Google to recognize you and get ranked. So that's a long-term play, right? It's a really long-term play. If you wanted to do something a little faster, you could do what they call pay-per-click from Google, and you could pay to get to the top, and then you pay for leads that way. Facebook has marketing side of it. It's not doing very well right now, but traditionally,
why do you feel it's not doing so good right now? You're just not getting the traction, or is it?
Yeah, we're just not getting it's not producing the way we hoped. We just have, but here's the bright side: we have a new Facebook company that I'm hands off on that. I pay somebody to do it.
Let someone do it. Yep.
Yeah, they're in their first month, so you can't judge anybody on the first month. You have to let the stuff go for at least a quarter before you start making decisions. So all this marketing stuff is just basically like you have to have a budget, and you have to basically just let it run, and then have good conversations with people, and then when the opportunities show up, the funny thing is you got to answer the phone. A lot of people don't want to answer the phone. I'm laughing because it's so simple, Lee, but a lot of people in this business don't answer the phone, right? They're just basically, so we answer the phone, we have good conversations, but we have a really good sales system, and Ricky and Peggy have been doing a great job on the sales, where our sales numbers are through the roof, and it just boils down to just like having a really good sales system as far as everything's a process. We make sure that we have a nice, a CRM, we keep all our leads, and then we make sure that we touch people and call them and check in with them and just do the work. It's just.
Do you do a weekly email or something?
No, we call people. Like emails are
just cool.
Yeah, we call. It just depends on if they're hot, cold, or they're warm. That's a whole conversation, right? It just depends on where they're at, kind of what bucket they're in, what part of the process they are. If they're cold, we still call them once a month or once every 2 months. Or they'll get a text from us. So we're in communication with them. We just, if they're warm, they're going to probably hear from us, every couple of months on a phone call. It's all the system. That's what's great about this. Everything's systemized. So I'm not babysitting anymore. I'm not asking people, why aren't you doing this and what's going on here? It's like everybody's doing what they're supposed to do because it's in a system.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they just report. We just have meetings once a week for about an hour and a half, and then once a day we talk for about 10 minutes, and then we just check in with each other and report they report their numbers from the day before. So everybody's accountable. It's all about accountability, right? It's like, that's one thing I know too. What I've learned, and I've heard this from a lot of people, is you can't make people be accountable. You either are or you aren't, right? So, and that's one thing we're big on is accountability.
Yeah. The way you do business is obviously tailored to the particular type of business too, I suppose. And, you've found a strategy that obviously works for you guys and what you do. When you've set up your businesses, were there any challenges that you could give advice on to maybe other people out there looking to, start their business as well, or the company?
Yeah, well, I got a lot of experience in that. It's excuse me, even when I had my plumbing business, at the beginning, you're a one-man show, and you can only do so much stuff, right? So I guess, my biggest challenge was trying to do everything myself, and then basically not delegating, and then not having the mindset of growth, not thinking that you're going to grow. You're because you're so you're so busy being busy, and you're kind of chasing your tail at the beginning, especially if you're out there doing like a service work as plumbing. You don't get paid until you do a job, so you're just constantly chasing yourself around, and then there's not like you spend a lot of time doing things that you could probably like delegate out to other people. So I think at the beginning it's real important to get focused on what you want and realize you're going to have to do the busy work at the beginning. But as you grow your business, you want to make sure you delegate and hire people and bring people in at the right time and have patience with them and know that it's going to take time to build this out. And then, but now I have a long-term vision. I don't have a short-term vision. I'm looking long-term now. So once I change,
what's long-term? Like 5 years, 10 years?
I even think right now like 3 years. I don't want to get too far ahead, too far ahead of it. But I think I have a vision that we're doing. I think this year we're on track to do like 32 deals. Next year I'm going to do 42, and then I even have I have a saying. It's like it's just as easy to do a deal a week than it isn't. So I'm trying to get if we can get to a deal a week and beyond that, that's what we're working towards right now. So we're just basically just keep growing the business and keep looking for key people to hire, and then for me to get out of the way and let people do their jobs.
Yeah.
Realize that hire talented people, make them, hold them accountable. Well, not even hold them accountable. They'll be accountable. Hire accountable people, and then everything, and then and training. That's another thing too. A lot of people don't want to train people. We're big on training, so constantly we're doing training. It's just over and over again. It's almost like an athlete, right? You can't just show up for the game and, like a basketball player, not even warm up before. I mean, you got to go to the practices and all that.
Train a lot. Do you find? Because I guess this is a challenge for businesses like yours, even like mine. Obviously, the owner will take ownership to the next level, and you'll probably have, you're probably that passionate about what you do, I imagine, where it just doesn't feel like work, and you can probably do it from early hours to late at night if you really wanted to with ease. But other people in there, I mean, do you incentivize them to get them to take that ownership, or is it just because you're a great leader? Like, what is it that you can do to really instill that ownership? Because, I mean, I guess, for my business, I'd like to have people under me that I can guide into setting up their own businesses eventually, not always working for me. But I guess each business is different in that sense. But I think the ownership piece is certainly one thing that's really hard to transfer to someone that doesn't own the company.
Yeah, and that's a big one, right? And I think, from my experiences, I think that the biggest thing is people that they come in and they promise you the world. Like say you're interviewing somebody and they think that they're, a lot of times they think like, well, if you pay me this much money, I'll perform. Money doesn't really motivate, it definitely, I don't think it motivates people. I think what money does is it's the reward from your being successful at what you do, but what I learned is that you set up these systems and you have accountability, and people that are accountable, they'll follow the system and they'll be accountable, and they're out there, but they're hard to find, because the people that are really good at what they're doing are already working, they're working for somebody else. So, you basically, what I found, what's been successful for me is to go ahead and when these people show up, whatever that is, make sure that you have create a space for them and give them the training and give them the power to run with it, and let them flourish in what they do best, and especially if they're in sales, right? And salespeople they're a dime a dozen, but really good salespeople are hard to find, and really good salespeople, they do the work and they make sure they put the calls in, and they're good at handling objections. And if they get a no, they know there's a yes around the corner. Yeah. So absolutely. I think you really have to just look and be, what do they say? Be slow to hire and quick to fire. You know? And if somebody's not meeting your, but see, when you have these core values, it's really interesting when everybody's kind of rowing in the same direction. You know when people are you feel that they're on the you're on the right path. Because let's just say we have a meeting every day at 8:45, and you don't want to go to the meeting, and you have all these excuses why you can't be at the meeting, but it's mandatory. You just right away you know that you have a problem with somebody, and it can be that simple. So that's not negotiable as far as I'm concerned. You know, you have to be there for that meeting. You have to show up on time, report your numbers. And if you don't want to do that, you're not a team player, and it's basically going to affect the whole company.
Yeah. I think you know, that idea of bringing someone on, you can quickly identify whether they're going to, you know, be a long-term star or not, just by their attributes more so than anything. Because I think skills and all that sort of thing you can train and teach someone, can't you? But the attributes at the core, you can pick up on very quickly. And that's why, you know, all the big, you know, like Navy SEALs and that, they go through that hardcore training at the very start, and people are very quickly, you know, outed by their attributes, basically.
Yeah, and that's a great point. It's like, and one thing too is like, you can't, you know, you have to, there's a lot of different personality tests out there. Like there's the DISC test, I think that's on Tony Robbins, and the Colby test. And if you give people these tests and have them answer these questions, they'll kind of put it, they'll kind of put them in I don't want to say it's a box, but it's like, it gives their personality what they'd probably be good at. So if you don't really want to hire somebody like in sales if they like, salespeople generally don't have admin skills. They're really good at selling, but they're horrible at making notes and building structure. They just want to talk to people, and they're drivers, right? Well, if you want to hire a salesperson, you don't want to. That's not the same skill set as an admin.
Yeah.
Like my admin is not a sales guy. I asked him, he's not interested in sales. He's really good at like setting up systems and following directions and doing, you know, keeping everybody together, keeping the sales people together and supporting them. But he's not interested in being a salesperson because it's just, you know, at least not right now. You know, maybe he'll grow into it down the road. But so you have to know you got to know how to. So when you're hiring people, you have to really make sure that you're hiring the person for the right position, because you could hire somebody. Oh, I'm great in sales. Well, they're just not salespeople, you know. And then you find out. Then how do you find out? Well, you know, your revenue.
How do you find out, like when you're recruiting someone? I mean, I guess you sort of got to go with the intuition, and I thought I was fairly good at recruiting, but maybe I'm not. How do you go about determining whether they're a salesperson or an admin person? Is it just through the questions you ask, or do you just have a feeling whether they're going to be suitable one way or the other? Or is it past experience? Those
two tests will. Yeah. You know, I never used to give the test, but those tests tell you a lot.
So you just hand those tests out and get them to do those tests.
Yeah. I mean, they tell you a lot, and there's even another one for salespeople too, and I forgot. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's a sales trainer that we use, and he has one from, you know, it's equivalent to that. It's even more directly at sales, and that one's supposed to even be more accurate, because they ask you questions in a way that, you know, that will determine your personality type. And I'm not really that great at sales. I mean, I'm good at talk. I could talk to you. I could probably, you know, I kind of call myself the king of the low hanging fruit. You and I go out, we have a conversation. You tell me what you want. I'm going, okay, well, Lee, that sounds pretty good. I think I could do that. You and I would probably be really, you know, I can close those deals all day long. But if I have to call you back and follow up and follow you up and follow up, that's not me. That's what Peggy's great at. Peggy, I love people. I really do. Peggy loves people. She loves talking to people. And she just has these natural conversations with people and gets to really know them. And then it's not a sales call anymore. It's actually just like trying to figure out how we can work together.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in sales myself, so I get a kick out of it. The admin side of things frustrate me sometimes, but you know, you need the good people around you, mate. Look, pleasure having you on today. I really appreciate your time. Want to how do we send people your way to, you know, connect with you, find out more? Is it just your website?
Yeah, you could go to John Medina Buys Houses.com.
Yeah.
And then you can get on there, and then you can send the email to me at John, John at johnmedinabuyshouses.com.
Yep.
You can get a hold of me that way too, and the phone number's on the website too if you guys want to check that out, or if we can be any service to people. We'd love to see if we could work together.
Yeah, no, cool. I'll stick that in the show notes for everyone listening out there. This is episode, I think it's 1010. So made the 1010 mark there. Thank you, John.
Oh, thank you.
And guys listening out there, check it out, thehiddenwire.com. Until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon.